I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which this episode is being recorded and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. Welcome to Can I Get a Refill? The podcast that offers a nurturing and inspirational space for honest and open discussions around career aspirations, wealth creation, motherhood, healthy relationships with others and the self, as well as an emphasis on physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Join us for lighthearted, authentic chats with like-minded women, as well as more in-depth discussions with industry professionals to support your ambitions and heal old wounds, as we empower you to regularly fill up your own cup. I'm your host, Steph Bruno-Newton, singer, writer, podcast host, mum, and recovering people pleaser. Thank you for pressing play today, and now let's get into the episode. Hello and welcome back to the Can I Get a Refill podcast. It is our second last episode before the end of the year, and we're talking tips for surviving the festive season with our most regular guest this year, Harmony. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me again.
It feels like a long time since you've been here because I had a few interview guests in between, so it's so great to have you back. I wanted to have you here for these last two because you've been so consistent all year. So this is my absolute favourite time of year. Anyone watching videos right now can see me with my Kmart Christmas jumper thing on, and it's really hot with the ring lights. So if I'm shiny, it's because I'm wearing my Christmas net, my headband, my earrings, the house is all decorated. But I was literally just saying to you, look, the whole thing about this podcast is keeping it real. When I used to sing, I feel like you have to, if you're going through something, you have to hide it and get on stage and smile because you've got to make people feel really good about themselves. And what I love about this, someone dear to me said that, you know, this has been a real way for you to find your voice, and I think that you can just show up authentically. And if I'm not feeling my best, I'm not going to mask it. I'm actually feeling a little overwhelmed and a little anxious. Lately, that's something that I always go through. But I do think that as an adult and as a woman, Christmas can be a bit like that because you realise as you grow up, it was really the matriarch was holding Christmas together by organising everything, doing everything. And a couple of years back, I love Glennon Doyle, who wrote Untamed. I love her podcast, We Can Do Hard Things, and her and her sister and her partner Abby were talking about, you know, the song It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year, and she's like, it's just the most time of the year. It's the most expensive. It's the most stressful. It's the most family
social
arguments. It's the most social. It's the most, you get to the end of the year, you were just saying it, and you feel your tank nearly empty.
Yeah.
Right?
Obligatory things.
Yeah, obligatory things. And just, it's been a whole year. It's been, So I wanted to talk tips for surviving the festive season. It is a beautiful, magical time of year, but, you know, we're not 8. It's really hard.
Exactly.
So let's talk things we can improve. So we're just going to run through a little list. So let's jump straight into it.
Number 1, start early and set a budget.
Absolutely. So anyone who's been in my house in September will have seen Christmas presents wrapped and ready to go.
Since September.
I do this
You're
every
one
year.
of those.
Hello. The type A personality. I've always said this, the Monica Geller. But it's also because by the time it gets to December, you're very social.
Yeah.
And I just said to Alan, I'm not doing any more spending before the end of the year, and just realised I need new shoes for my work Christmas party. So I'll slip it in there before December hits. But I thought if you buy Christmas presents early, then by the time it's social, you can spend your money on going out and catching up with people. So spread it out, start thinking throughout the year. I always message, you know, my brothers and sisters and sister-in-law and say, what do the kids want? And then start through the year and then just get, you know, bit by bit. So
that's good.
Yeah. So start sort of organising and then like spread out, you know, like buying your outfits for your Christmas parties, booking in your nail appointments, your lash appointments, your hair appointments. So try and spread them out. What do you find your biggest expenses are in this time of year?
Oh, just the social outings.
That's
when everyone wants to meet up all of a sudden.
Exactly.
You know, it's like the worst time for me to meet up, but that's where everyone's meeting up. So
I've got another point further down that we're going to discuss that about how everybody wants to get together at December. So buy your Christmas presents early. What's the next one on the list?
Bake treats to give as gifts. This is you.
Okay, so you might remember that I give some very tasty Christmas cookies every year. My nephew's always like, you're going to do the cookies, right? You're doing the cookies this year.
Yeah, they're the best.
I've been doing that since I was in high school. Christmas Eve is my favourite day because my parents would always work and my brother and I would watch Christmas movies. I would bake the cookies. I would wave them under, he'd be in his room playing video games, and then I'd waft the smell under his door and he would emerge at the smell of my Christmas cookies. And we would always exchange one gift with each other on Christmas Eve, so I love it. But when you have a lot of people in your life, it's very expensive to buy $50 bottles of wine. So, and this year, I'm just putting it out there, being on maternity leave, everyone's just getting cookies. I'm not getting expensive stuff as well. But you know what? It's personalised, and I've always made them and put them in little gift bags and hung them on the doors of all my neighbours. Since I've been here nearly 9 years, I've been doing that. So
yeah, they're so cute. I have still like a box that you put
do you really?
Yeah, it's like my pen box.
That's cute. It's from Hot Dollar. I love that. I go there every year. They got great boxes. Yeah. But it's really personalised. And you know what else I did once? I might, if I have time, do the video and put it online for people who I know don't eat junk food because they're really fatty, unhealthy cookies that I make. So I do where you hollow out dates, fill them with peanut butter, and then dip them in chocolate, and then I would decorate them with like gold leaf or beautiful little pearl things. They are the most beautiful gift. I would do like 3, put them on like baking paper, and then put them in a beautiful box. Loveliest gift. Just needs to be refrigerated because it gets really, really hot. But yeah, that's a nice personalised way to do it. People like that. But there was an episode of Friends where they didn't have money and they had to tip their super, and they gave cookies and he mashed them in the newspaper and left it on their door because he didn't want it. What's the next one on the list?
Number 3, share the load.
Yeah, so years ago, my mum and I and my auntie would switch with the hosting. So one year we would host, the next year they would host. And I hosted last year through morning sickness that I was trying to hide. But I did it on purpose because I was like, I'm not going to want to host when I have a 5-month-old baby. So I'm glad I did that. So this year I'm hosting nothing. I do like hosting, but A, it's very expensive, and B, it's really exhausting.
Yeah,
so
if you've
stressful. So if you've got people in your family, if you can just say, how about this year you do it, that year you do it. Or with my group of friends, we do like picnics in Newtown and everyone brings a plate. Yeah, it's super expensive and it's really exhausting. So share the load and delegate. You know, if you've got bigger kids, get them to do a bit of the cleaning. Get your husband to pick up some of the food. Like, delegate. I'm always like trying to do everything myself because I like it done a particular way, but accept help.
My mum stresses out during Christmas because it's all on her. One Christmas I tried to host.
Yeah.
I was like early 20s.
Yeah.
We did like a boozy brunch thing.
I was just going to say, if it was in your early 20s, all you organised was the grog.
I forgot the food. So we had to go back to my mum's house anyway to eat, but we were all drunk.
Do you know what? Every year, you know, like I love watching the Hallmark Christmas movies and I want to make it beautiful and special. They're bullshit. It's not like
commercialism.
It's commercialism, but also it's nice and calm in the US because it's wintry and pretty. I'm sweating right now and it's the coolest day of the week. Like it's stressful, it's hot, you're trying to bake in this kitchen. So just make it cash. Just throw a couple of prawns and salad together. You know how sometimes you can just try and go over the top? And I remember years ago we were hosting with my family. I was still young and living with my parents. And everything went wrong and I spilled things and dropped things. And I just remember Mum and I just having champagne and laughing. And then we just sat out the back having champagne and eating grapes. And it was like the best memory of let's try not to make it perfect. Let's just, you know what I mean?
Make it enjoyable.
Make it enjoyable. Like when you're a kid, you didn't want perfect. Okay, next one.
Number 4, group friends together.
Yeah, so this is a good thing for me. Well, I can get a bit funny with I'm a bit of a, for Seinfeld fans, of George Costanza, in that mixing groups can sometimes make me freak out. But you can't catch up with everybody. So sometimes you need to group groups together. So as I said, I'll do like this huge group with my Newtown friends and everyone brings a plate and we just picnic. So see if you can do that.
I never do it. I don't know what it's like. I can't do it. Grouping friends together. Yeah, because they're all so different. I can't do it.
Sometimes, you know what? Sometimes it's really awkward.
Yeah.
But if they all know each other, it's different. So
yeah, exactly. I've always loved the idea of that. Like I wanted that. That would be so easy, but I don't. All my friends are so separate.
Well, do you know what? I'm just going to combine. I think the other one I talked about was uphold the boundaries that you've had all year. Here's the thing when it gets to this time of the year, everyone reaches out to you going, let's catch up, let's catch up. You don't have to catch up with every single person you know in December.
Yeah.
Like you can catch up in January. It's not a big deal and it's way more relaxed. So you can group friends together if that's easier. If that's a bit awkward, like I'm not personally a huge fan of that, even though that is my suggestion. Because for some people it works for them, have everyone together. Just spread the get-togethers out. Like do some in January, do some. So like that movie with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon, 4 Christmases, that is us. Like I see Alan's sister and the kids, then the brother-in-law and the kids, then I see my family, then we see his parents, and who are sort of back together, so it's actually made it easier for me because otherwise it would have been a fifth kid.
They get back together?
After decades.
Wow.
I don't think they're going to listen to this, but you know what? We were the catalyst because they didn't talk. And then in our wedding in 2021, I didn't seat them next to each other. I hope they don't listen to this. I don't think they would. But I won't do an Instagram reel on this because she'll watch that. But I thought they didn't talk. They always implied that they didn't talk to each other. Yeah. They broke up when Alan was 12. Alan's 35.
Wow.
Right? So, and then she was in Queensland. She remarried. And then, so I seated them really far apart at my wedding thinking I was being kind. Anyway, well, they were chatting all night and he gave her a lift home. And I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
And then they were in contact ever since that. This was years ago, so she's broken up with the guy. She's moved back here. Well, they're living in the same house together. And Alan was dying to know because we caught up with him the other week and he's like, what's living arrangements? What's happening there? And they're like, and the mum, they looked really like teenagers sprung. And the dad's like, what do you mean? And then mum's like, well, he works and I cook. And I'm like, okay. and the dad's like, I sleep in my bedroom and she sleeps in another bedroom. So they're probably just friends, but... And I was like saying to Alan, this is great. Now we can just group together one thing. Otherwise it would have been a separate thing. And oh my God. So we do 4 Christmases. So
oh my God.
We've now said, and we normally catch up with them after Boxing Day, but I have this thing that once, I love Christmas, but once Boxing Day comes, I don't want to see anyone. I'm going to go to the beach. Don't come at me for get-togethers. I'm exhausted and I've eaten so much, so I want to get back to the gym. So we might be catching up before Christmas. So that's sort of working out better for me instead of doing everything. Because as I say, Christmas Eve used to be my favourite day, but now it's literally in the car racing from this place to that place or hosting. And then last year I was exhausted, but also secretly pregnant. So that's probably another thing.
True.
Okay. Talking of drinking, like we were on the other point, what's your next point on the list?
Number 5 is stay hydrated.
Oh, my Lord. Hydrodol tablets are my very favourite from Gozo House. Hydrolite, coconut water if you want to be healthy, but good Lord, stay hydrated. And if you're drinking, excuse yourself to the bar and grab a glass of water on your way in between drinks. But it's so hot out there at the moment. Like, honestly, every time there's an ailment, my boss is like, anyone's got a headache, you're dehydrated, have water. It's the solution to everything. But you know what? Sometimes it is. We are not drinking enough water, so just have water.
Number 6, remember what you loved most about Christmas when you were a kid. Less is more.
This is really, really important. I've been seeing this coming up online. There's the Law of Attraction Changed My Life podcast lady, Francesca Amber's doing this whole movement of spending less. And last year I did that. I love Christmas decorations, but I only bought 1 glasshouse candle. I was like, I'm not spending this year. This year I've bought a few extra things because it's Leo's first Christmas, I've probably spent a little bit more than usual because I'm super excited about it. But the thing is, we never loved Christmas as much as we did as a kid. And when you were a kid, you were not out buying everything. And I saw this great thing. I wish I had it in front of me on Instagram the other day. And it was like, reminder, you don't need to have matching family pajamas to have a great Christmas. You don't need to have this. Like, for God's sake, do the simple things. So I am taking all of Christmas off from recording. I'm batch recording, so I've got episodes for next year. I want to be in the moment. It's the end of my maternity leave, spend it with Leo. But I want to do really fun, free things. So I've booked local Christmas carols at the park we want to go to. Well, not booked, but I've booked that in with some of the mums in the area to do. I always go every year to the city, and St Mary's Cathedral, they do the lights display where it's it's stunning. So hopefully Leo stays up late enough to watch it because it's so beautiful. Then look at the tree at Martin Place, go into David Jones and Meyer, look at all that. So do the real simple things you loved, like have your Christmas movie marathon day, bake your cookies, just do stuff like that. Like, it doesn't have to be
rush. It
doesn't have to be rush. It doesn't have to be expensive, and it doesn't have to be aesthetic. Everyone wants to look perfect. So
something you can take a photo of and put it on Instagram.
Yeah. What are your favourite Christmas traditions? If not now, then as a kid. What were the things that really lit up joy for you?
I don't know. I just really liked having all of my family there.
Presents is the present, right? It's getting together. Yeah. So that's why this year I've put this rule in: no adult Christmas presents. Like, Alan's got so many nephews. I'm like, if you're 20 or live out of home, you're off the list because they've all started having kids really young. So I'm like, I'm not buying for 2 kids and your partner and you it's so expensive. So
it's really expensive.
Yeah. So we're just going to do that. Yeah. Just keeping it simple, the things you loved as a kid, and it was everyone getting together.
Yeah. It was the spending time and not having to I don't know, go to school and go to work.
Yeah, totally. And then Boxing Day was all about playing with new toys or going to the two things I always did was either go to the beach or go to the movies. I remember when I was a teenager, my brother and I would always go to the movies on Boxing Day, and I'd have the leftover batch of my cookies, wrap them in alfoil, and then take them to the movies at Hurstville. So that was like, I loved that. Look forward to it. You know, it was funny. When I was a kid, Christmas Eve is my favourite. I find Christmas Day a little bit anticlimactic, but I hated Boxing Day because I was like, oh, it's all over.
Yeah.
And my mum loved Boxing Day. Now as an adult, I'm like, girl, I get it. I love Boxing Day because no one's contacting me. I can just chill, go to the gym, then go to the beach. So I get it. It's an adult thing.
Okay, so number 7, curb your spending.
Okay, so we talked about the gifts and stuff, but I had this thought in my mind the other day. Just because something's beautiful doesn't mean you have to own it. So I'm running through David Jones going, oh, my God, that Christmas bauble and this decoration. And then I'm like thinking about how much stuff I have in a one-bedroom unit that I'm always trying to give away to Vinnies. I don't need to own everything in my house. I can look at it and appreciate it for being beautiful without purchasing it and bringing it home.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you can just look at things. I'm going through – do you feel this lately? Where I feel like a real consumer and it overwhelms me. And I think because everything's on the app on your phone, whereas years ago, if you were shopping in stores, you didn't think about shopping when you were sitting on your couch. Now, if there's an ad break, I'm looking at the iconic of my wish list, Temple and Webster. I'm looking at things that I feel overwhelmed. But you know what really irks me? The constant texts and emails. But the text, it feels too personal. I've got to figure out how I can unsubscribe from those. Every company's coming at you. Well, today when we're recording this, it's the Black Friday sale. Everyone is coming at you with buy this, buy that, rushing out of time. Those stupid sites like Temu with like, oh, my God, I did one purchase. The thing I went on that for, I've tried twice. It hasn't even shown up, but I had to buy all this other crap because it was a free item.
Yeah.
And then quick with a ticking time bomb. There's actually a doco on Netflix at the moment. I think it's called Buy Now or Shop Now or something like that about how these companies are doing that. It's really unethical. But I just feel like such a consumer, like everyone's coming at me to spend money. Can we think about the planet and how much crap we're filling up the planet with? Do you know what I mean? Like even clothes, I think they're doing a bit of a crackdown now about fast fashion because influencers will be like, let's unbox. And they've got like 10 boxes of things.
Yeah.
And if they're not good quality, they're ending up in landfill. So I recently just invested in my first ever set of white linen sheets. Life-changing, so expensive. Do you know how many cheap sets of sheets I've bought and had to get rid of? Now that's landfill, and I didn't have
disposable.
Good sleep. Yeah, and I don't have aircon, so I was like, I want something breathable. Oh, you should see my Fitbit stats of how good my sleep has been the last week because it is so comfortable. So that's investing in something that I might keep forever. I don't know how long linen sheets last, but with the fast fashion, when you're buying all this cheap stuff, where do you think it's going to go? Like you can only donate stuff that's re-wearable. If it's got holes in it, it's really crap. That's landfill. So
yeah, I hate that.
Yeah,
you want to have like better quality things.
Yeah,
and less of them.
Yeah, and better quality, and have good staples that you can mix and match. So I'm trying to be really, really conscious of like what I'm spending, and I do get excited when I see Kmart stuff come out. And I'm like, you know what? I got to think about storing that stuff. I got to think about how long it's going to last. So. On the other topic on curb your spending is if you need to use a credit card or Afterpay, and I have been using Afterpay, but I'm obviously not on a full-time salary at the moment, think of how long it would take you in the new year to pay that back. That might be setting you back on a well-earned vacation. So we get caught up in the moment. I've got to get it. 1 year, the poorest I ever felt. So I always talk about how I'm still working on my money mindset. The poorest I ever felt was when I sold my favourite thing in the world was my beautiful piano. And it was in my parents' house and they didn't want it, but I couldn't really afford storage or to move it, and I sold it. And this was years ago. I still think about it and feel really upset. That thing was the most beautiful piano I always pictured playing in my forever home. And I sold it and got $2,200, and like that's what I used to like pay for Christmas presents that year. And I remember feeling povo. Like that was, you know, when everyone thinks that they're low point financially. And I was in debt and stuff. This was years ago. And that was my low point of I sold something I loved, you know?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it just made me feel really sad. So curb your spending. If you have to go into debt or borrow money to buy gifts for someone else, it's not really the spirit of the season. Like,
yeah, exactly. And it's not that they really, really need that stuff.
No.
It's just that you have to give a present. Like you feel like you have to.
That's a good point you make, because sometimes you've got to question, am I doing something because it's going to bring them joy or because I want to make myself look like a nice person? Do you know what I mean?
True.
So, when you get really – so, when you spend – they say how do you feel when you spend? If it's aligned with your values, you feel good. When I got those sheets, I felt great about spending that money because that was quality added. But you know how sometimes you're like, I shouldn't have spent that. So I think you've got to think that, with other people too, if you're just trying to make yourself look good, that's not going to feel aligned with your values. But if you're getting something for someone that you love who mentioned it, and you know it means a lot to them, your face lights up watching them unwrap it. So that's a little something I used to do for my family. I've got them all here. Do like all the family photos from the last 3 years, and every 3 years do like a photo book and give it to my family, and they love looking through the memories. Beautiful. Meaningful, it's personalised, and then with the cookies. So that's personalised gifts. So I really like that. But they can be expensive. Every time you add a page, it's dollars. So just be careful of the spending. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. I do like Afterpay, but it's a real ethical issue with me when they brought it in for hospitality. So if you're going out and you're tipsy, you're shouting people around of espresso martinis that you can't afford, and then you've got to pay that off over the next 8 weeks. So
exactly.
You shouldn't need Afterpay in hospitality. I think that's wrong. If you can't afford that meal that night, you shouldn't be spending it.
Yeah.
Okay, next one on the list.
Number 8, consider a secret Santa.
And you have quite a large family.
Yeah, well, we actually were doing that this year too.
Great. Is this the first year you're doing that?
No, on and off we do it.
Yeah.
We're so last minute that we never give enough time to plan it.
Yeah.
But we did it this year.
You need someone like me in the family.
Yeah.
Sending the names out in September.
Yeah.
Well, I was just saying, we do that. My immediate family is quite small, so we've always given gifts. I guess you still want to your parents because it's your parents. But with Alan, it's so many nephews, so we're just going to have to start doing that, or just buy for the kids because it's insanely expensive. There's a really cool thing I did at a workplace once where I don't know the name of it, but you do a Secret Santa, but then you stand around in a circle and you can steal someone's gift.
Yes,
and I had a really good gift and someone stole, and I was so upset, but it was actually really exciting and really fun. I can't think of the name of it.
It's some type of version of Secret
Santa. Yeah, it's really cool. In a workplace, it's cool, unless it turns into fisticuffs.
They have to be like low value things so that it's not too upsetting.
It's all going to be the similar value. I agree. Yeah. Okay, next on the list.
So number 9, unplug.
Okay, super important.
This is a good one.
Once you've logged off, I guess it depends on your job, but once you've logged off for your leave, I've never had a job where I need my emails on my phone, so that's only my personal emails coming in. Once I close my laptop and put that out of office on, I'm done until I'm back at work. And they've brought in laws now where you don't have to look at your emails and work things after certain hours. Spend the time with your loved ones.
Yeah.
Really unplug, so... And then also for decorating your Christmas tree and wrapping presents, kind of like blank it out in your diary so no one can bother you, so you can really spend that day and play your Christmas carols and make it really special. I love decorating the tree. I loved it when I was a kid. Oh, back to the not spending money. That just reminded me of the tree we used to have like in the late 80s and early 90s when I was a kid. It smelled like cheap plastic. The decorations were so ugly, and it was the most magical thing. So I think it goes to show you don't have to have the most beautiful aesthetic. It just needs to bring you joy. Anything that lights up kind of brings you joy, right?
One year we were so broke, my whole family. We my brother and I, we started stealing things from people leading up to Christmas.
Yeah.
Stealing really important things.
Yeah.
And then we just wrapped it all up and gave it back to them at Christmas. And they were like, oh, yes.
That's enough.
We had no money.
Bad
the
mums
best.
too. She's like, my kid, I've given him the same baseball mitt year after year. I just take it from his room and wrap it up. He doesn't know. That is so funny, which probably goes to show people have so many things they don't even realise.
Yeah, exactly.
But, so I think it's a really beautiful thing, decorating the tree. I used to put Christmas carols on. Now I probably put Christmas movies on. So I was like, this year it's going to be so whimsical with Leo sitting there. It was so fucking hard. He wanted to be picked up so much and he's kicking and screaming. He loved when Alan was putting the Polar Express train together and he was holding the train. He's such a little dude. It was not magical. It was not whimsical.
Oh, God.
We have a little drilling next door, so if you hear any noise, I apologise. I have a new neighbour who's doing works, and when he first moved in, he was like, no problem. Give me a number, tell me whenever you're recording and I can pause. And today it's 0 fucks given because it's been a few weeks and he just doesn't give a shit. So I apologise if you hear noise, but it is what it is. I'm trying to be festive and patient.
Christmas spirit.
Okay.
Number 10, set the festive tone.
Okay, I love this. So play Christmas carols. This is especially if you're hosting, but you know what? Every day. Play Christmas carols through December. Make it feel festive. Even when I
it's hard in Australia to do that with the weather.
Oh my God. Okay, so I peak too early. I will start watching Christmas movies October. It's not unreasonable to say that I have started sometimes in August. But do you know why? Because it's colder and I'll see rain outside and I light this beautiful Love Thy Oils is the brand and it's called pudding, and it smells like pudding. It's beautiful because I try not to do candles all the time because they can be toxic. And then I have the Christmas music or the Harry Potter Christmas music going while I'm working and it feels so festive and beautiful. By the time it gets to December, I'm over it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's so hot. I'm like, yeah, I just want to go for a swim.
Yeah.
And that's why when Boxing Day comes, I'm like, get this tree out of my house. I want space. I want to go swim. So try and set the tone. And when you have people come over, you know, you can go on YouTube and do like Christmas ambience or Christmas jazz music cafe. And it's like beautiful pictures and it'll be like people opening, sounds of doors opening and jazz Christmas music playing. So I stream that off my TV to make it, you know, when TV playing in the background when people come in, it's quite, you know, it can be anxious.
Yeah.
So set the tone with the smells and with the music. Oh, yeah, and then just turn your normal lights off in the evening and have your Christmas lights on.
I love that.
That's lovely.
I really love that.
It's just lovely. But then the other night there was like really heating and there were power outages. And when I saw people's Christmas tree lights on, I was like, oh, we should probably not do that because the fridge is way more important. We can't lose our power. But, yeah, set the festive tone. That definitely puts you in the mood. It does for me.
11, clear the energy.
Okay, this is a survival thing. So if you have people in your home, this is something I do. Everyone might not believe in it, but I always talk about it. After I've had guests leave, I use a smudge stick and I go around the house in a clockwise motion, I think from the front door, and I use white sage and I smudge the house and I play that music and I'll say, actually I put a face mask on. I find white sage
I hate the smell.
Okay, one of my best friends loves it and hates the smell of Palo Santo. I think we've discussed this. I'm completely the opposite. Palo Santo smells great and I find white sage
I could wear that as perfume. I love that smell.
I love it. And you smell for days after white sage. Like it is in your hair. And so I actually haven't done it since Leo's been born because I'm like, I got to Google if that's safe. Like I wouldn't do it with him in the house, but I got to think. But I love to clear the energy. If you have different people in your home, it doesn't matter how positive it was. That's a lot of different energy to have in your home. So you know how you always say my house is really like calm and cozy, and I'm clearing the energy all the time to make sure it's like that. So smudge stick and I always say I cleanse this home of any negative energy, and then in the afternoon I'll do Palo Santo and I welcome in any positive energy. So that's something I like to do. You can do a meditation, whatever feels good for you.
Number 12, take time to yourself each day.
Yeah, even just 10 minutes to meditate and deep breathe. It's just a very overwhelming time of year. It's very busy, very overbooked. And on the days where I do wake up a little bit early and I just gone back to doing some reformer Pilates classes, or I'll do yoga. Now Leo's doing actual and proper nap times, which he was just sort of sleeping as he went before. And I napped for an hour and a half yesterday, like at 9 a.m. I made protein balls, I did yoga, I did some meditation, then I did a little workout, and I felt really good. Every time I fill up my own cup, I just feel like I'm taking some of my energy back.
Yeah, getting on top of things, getting things like just sorted.
Yeah.
I always do that when I'm walking the dog, like I'll just prepare everything so that I know what's happening.
That's a great time to do it. I love walks for that reason. Like it's either being in the moment or planning things because your mind's fresh. Love it.
Yeah.
And our final one.
Number 13, eat, drink and be merry.
I love this because it's all very busy. It's all very organised. It's all very structured. You can't plan everything. When it comes to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, don't worry about anything. Just don't count your calories. Don't worry about your gut health. Just enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
really
exactly.
It's literally, as adults, it's probably the only time you do. So just be in the moment and enjoy it and really love it. And spend time with your loved ones and just be in the moment. Don't look at your phone until you get home later and want to post your photos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because you're spending so much time planning and stressing about those things. Like at least enjoy them when you get there.
Yeah, because then it's buying a blur. This is like the wedding. I'm like, did that just finish? Like, I spent months planning it and I don't remember a thing of it. But it can be like that with Christmas too. So be in the moment and enjoy. That's all we have today, my friends. So wishing you a very, very Merry Christmas. I hope everyone does take time to fill up their cup. Oh, before we end, I might ask you if you do have any plans to do something to fill up your cup.
Yes, well, I am just going to slow down, really.
Yeah, I love that.
This is the first year, I think, ever in my professional career that I'm able to not be so busy at this time of year.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I know, I'm so excited.
Nice. It's a special year. You just got engaged, so you and Priska can really be in the moment and enjoy some special time. Does she have to work much through Christmas?
No, she's got forced leave for Christmas. So.
Oh, yeah, mine's like that. So it's, financially it can be hard, but then it's like, thank you.
Yes,
thank you for making me do that so I can really switch off. I am going to have my first swim with Leo. So he starts in swimming lessons next week, but I've ordered these, I don't know if you know the brand Sunny Life, where they do the floaties. And there's this really cool one for kids where he sits in his floaty, but there's an attached bit where I stand around him and then it's got a cover so he won't get sun on him. I ordered it on the Iconic a week ago, and they keep sending emails, sorry, it hasn't dispatched yet, sorry, it hasn't dispatched yet. I really want it to come because I just want a really nice swim. And because I'm not working, I thought I'll do a weekday swim because weekends are mental in Cronulla.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I want to do a weekday swim so he's not overwhelmed. So, yeah, I just really want to enjoy
that's going to be so
swim. And I did say to you, I'm batch recording, so don't worry, everyone, you won't be with that podcast, but I'm taking a good 4 to 6 weeks off so I can really enjoy. Christmas is very special to me, but this year with Leo, it's a very special Christmas for my family. So I really want to be in the moment and enjoy. So if I'm not responding to Insta comments, my apologies. I'm in the moment. Thank you, everyone. We've got one more, so I won't say goodbye for the end of the year, but wishing you a very Merry Christmas. I hope you do something to fill up your cup, and I really hope you enjoy the special festive time with your loved ones. Catch you in the next episode. There is no resource more valuable than time, and I thank you for spending your time with us today. Your voice is so important, and we would love to hear which topics you would like discussed in future episodes. Please reach out by Instagram at Can I Get a Refill Podcast or in our private Facebook group to let us know. If you enjoyed this or previous episodes, we would be so grateful if you could please subscribe, rate, and review to help our voices continue to be heard. Catch you in the next episode.